you sick freaks! Welcome to another lesson in Terror's Torture Trials! Do we have any couples watching? Doesn't matter if you're heterosexual or homosexual. I've got a device for the boys and the girls. I present to you the Chastity Belt. You're looking at this thing and I bet you already have a pretty good idea of how it works. But for the prudes who don't want to get their mind in the gutter, allow me to mess up that clean little head of yours. The Chastity Belt has two variants, one for the dick and the other for the hole. For many years, the exact purpose of the device was up for debate. Some believe that the female version was made to ensure that a woman wouldn't cheat on her man while he was away for battle. However, that doesn't make much sense, as while a man was away, she could get a locksmith to remove it for her. Not only this, but at the time, the man would rather impregnate the woman before leaving to ensure that she'd stay. I say at the time, but it's sad that some men still think like this. The real reason, however, is that they were used to prevent the wearer from masturbating. It's simple. The device is put on the victim like a pair of pants and secured with a lock and key. If the victim attempts to pleasure themselves, it will immediately cause immense pain to their naughty region, their no-no spot, their... It would also affect the male if they were to get an erection. The device wasn't just used on adults, but teenagers and kids as well. Hey, I'm a torturer, not a monster. Leave the kids out of this. It's bad enough I have to hear their screams while I'm trying to get groceries at Walmart anyway. There is also a bit of debate on when the device was invented. Some believe that it was made as recent as the late 1800s to the early 1900s, but recent evidence has shown that it's more likely that it was made in the 15th century. Aren't you glad we live in a more sex-positive world? Good evening, my piles of bone and gore, and welcome back to Terror's Torture Trials! Did you know that I tried to make this show in 2017? Yep, but only one episode was made back then. But you won't be missing much, because in this lesson, I'll be going over the device that I talked about all those years ago, and goddamn, I do not like to think of 2017 as so many years ago. That was 8 years ago, by the way. You oldie moldy. The tongue terror! You ever just want some idiot to shut the fuck up for once in a miserable life? Well, this device is perfect for you. As the name suggests, this contraption was put into the victim's mouth to easily rip it out of their tongue. I mean, honestly, what else is there to say? It's a pretty straightforward device. As far back as the 1200s, the tongue terror was used as not only a torture method, but also as a way to silence others. Because without your tongue, how would you share your shitty opinions? Well, besides writing, and text, and sign language, okay, I guess it wouldn't completely silence you, but it still wouldn't be good if you're an aspiring voice actor or singer, now would it? This was especially bad back then due to primitive medical techniques, so there was also the risk of an infection. So your words wouldn't be the only ones cut short. Too bad, so sad. Maybe now you'll think twice before saying a slur, you fucking racist. Good day, degenerates. Welcome back to Terror's Torture Trials. Inflation is a very popular kink these days, but of course, there can be too much of a good thing. We weren't built to expand like a Princess Peach pea balloon image. There's only so much our bodies can take. This brings us to the water cure. Strange name considering that it is a torture method. One that's been practiced throughout several countries for different reasons. Interrogation, experimentation, and of course just plain torture. The torture goes as so. The victim is strapped down, their nose is clamped shut, and a funnel is shoved down their throat. Water is then poured down the funnel, leading directly to their stomach. Their stomach then swells up until it nearly bursts and— Hey! Get your damn hands out of your pants! I'm trying to talk here! Jesus Christ! This causes immense pain around this area. Sometimes the torturer may even beat their stomach to get them to throw up the water to start it all over again. Having too much water in your system could cause your kidneys to fail, as there's too much for them to process. Your body's sodium is weakened, gastric distension, and possible water poisoning, and wait, that's a thing? Don't forget to drink water. Welcome back, those who are safe, for now, to Terror's Torture Trials. On today's lesson, we're going to be talking about one of my favorite torture devices, the Brazen Bowl, made in ancient Greece by Perilaus of Athens. As the name implies, this device is meant to look like a bronze bowl. You open its stomach and lock the victim inside as a fire is put under it. Not only would the inside of the bowl begin to heat up, but the surface would as well. There is truly no escape from the heat when entered into the bowl. It was built with an acoustic apparatus that caused the victim's screams to sound like a bull's wails. Despite being used to kill another, the process made the bronze bowl almost come to life with its bellows and movements caused by the victim's screams and struggles. Now, why do I mention the name of the device's maker? Because this is an educational show. Are you stupid? Well, don't feel too bad, idiot. There's a reason I bring it up. For you see, while Perilaus was the one who invented the bowl, they had no idea they were also going to be its first victim. Perilaus created the Brazen Bowl for Perillus, the tyrant of Acragas. He presented his invention to him with the words, "His screams will come to you through the pipes of the tenderest, most pathetic, most melodious of bellowings." Perillus was disgusted by his statement and tricked Perilaus to get into the bowl as he was locked inside and almost killed by his own invention. But before he could die, he was pulled out, only to be thrown off of a cliff. Okay, so why pull him out of the device if you were just gonna kill him anyway? Tyrants and dictators have no real appreciation for the art of torture. That's okay. It was said that Perillus also died inside the Brazen Bowl after being overthrown. This wouldn't be the last time it was used. According to some sources, the Romans also used the bowl to kill several Christians before the Common Era. Giddy up, partners! Welcome back to Terror's Torture Trials! Today's lesson, I'm going to talk about a device that's always intrigued me. And here it is! Now I know what you're thinking. This is just some ancient drying rack, but don't be fooled. The pain this simple-looking contraption has caused us simply to die for. This is the wooden horse, also known as the Spanish donkey. There are two versions of the wooden horse, but both act generally the same. The victim is put on top of the device with their legs apart. They appear as if they're straddling a horse. Their own weight will do the rest, though sometimes weights are added to ensure they don't fall off as it begins to dig into their nether regions, and man, a lot of tortures have to do with mutilating genitals, huh? Cock and ball torture. But here's where things get different. The first version of the wooden horse is a sharp triangular piece of wood with only one side pointing up. The other is called a Chevrolet, or riding the rail, used in America during the colonial period. This version is very similar, except there is an added form of humiliation, as the bullet and its victims are carried by two or more individuals as they're brought around town. The constant movement and bouncing would only add more pain to the experience. Some who were forced to ride the horse had their genitals mutilated, were paralyzed from the waist down, or died from their injuries. We could all use a bit of humility, but how can we grow from humility if we're dead?